Welcome back to Avengers Ultimate Battle Force, and this time we are playing as Beast. We're going to activate Beast's ultimate move right away, which is to summon a robot buddy. It's not quite as devastating as a normal ultimate attack for this game, but it is unexpected and I like it a lot. The robot buddy tends to stick around for a really long time, and by the time he does die, your ultimate meter will be full again. Or sorry, your special meter. So immediately after he dies, you can just summon a new one. If there's one downside to the robot buddy, it's that he tends to hit enemies that are off the screen, and it would be much easier if he'd let them come back on the screen so that way he could combo them, but whatever, I guess Beast programming has a couple of flaws in it. Beast is a reasonably agile dude, and he can catapult himself across the screen in place of a projectile. He can also combo enemies with his running attack just like Quicksilver, which is useful. He doesn't seem to deal too much damage, but he's a lot more competent alongside his robot buddy, and there's really no reason not to use his robot buddy. I mean, I can't think of one at least. The downsides certainly don't outweigh the positives. I tend to use Beast's dashing attack a whole lot, because although he's not as quick as Quicksilver, it's a lot better than using that catapult move whenever you can. The catapult move is useful if you want to hit enemies from really, really far away, sure, but that doesn't happen often. Plus, as I already said, you can juggle enemies with this dashing attack, and that might be possible with the catapult move as well, but if it is, it's a bit more difficult to pull off. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the enemy types for a second as soon as a robot buddy kills that guy. Yeah, up here there will be an enemy with a shield. And the enemies with shields can block your regular combos head on. You can hit them from behind or use a dashing attack to knock them over. And I prefer comboing them with a dashing attack to get rid of them. They're not like an incredibly difficult enemy type or anything, but they do require a different strategy than if you were just button mashing up until this point. Though if you button mash in this game in general, you're probably going to be in some trouble, because this game does get really difficult. When there's more than a couple of those shield enemies, I think I usually tend to use one of the character's ultimate attacks to deal with them faster, but well, Beast can't use his ultimate again while his robot buddy is out. You can't summon multiple robot buddies or anything like that to my knowledge. I have tried. So, now that we've gotten the new enemy type out of the way also, let's talk about... Oh, hold on. This guy only appears once in this stage. He's very hard to knock over, and I'm not sure if it's even possible, so I prefer to let the robot buddy deal with most of it. I would hesitate to call him a mini-boss, but he's definitely tougher than most of the enemies, and he has a projectile and a really devastating whirlwind attack that moves diagonally in two separate directions. You can even chain the whirlwinds together. I should really call it a spinning attack instead of a whirlwind, but the spinning attack can be avoided, in my experience, just by running away from the guy really hard. We lost our robot buddy, but like I said, we can summon another one immediately. So now that we're finally done talking about the enemy types, this stage goes on a little bit too long for my tastes. Now this might just be because I'm playing as Beast, and Beast is inherently slower with killing enemies because he can't use an ultimate that actually damages things directly. It certainly makes the boss fights take a lot longer, I can assure you of that. But playing with the robot buddy is still fun. I assume it would be more fun in co-op, but I lack the necessary resources to play co-op at a convenient time for both myself and my cooperative partner.
Prepare to be thrashed.
This is Tigershark. You might remember him from the intro of the first chapter, which we're still in, by the way. And he's actually a pretty cool boss battle. He's most vulnerable after he lands out of water on the docks. And he does a couple of things when he lands out of water. He'll either jump at you, or he'll flex. And he's obviously more vulnerable when he flexes. He moves really fucking fast, but it's definitely possible to interrupt his attacks if you're quick enough, and you can even combo him with the robot buddy by throwing him at your robot friend. Sometimes the robot buddy won't hit him in time and won't work with you, but most of the times he seems to. His behavior isn't that predictable, but if he's any decent distance away, you can assume he's going to be jumping at you soon. And I would recommend coming at him from above or below, even after he lands, because although that is when he's at his most vulnerable, he can slash right through your combo. Speaking of breaking through your attacks, this seems like you could also look at this excellent dodging. That was actually really cool, and I'm proud of that. Speaking of being able to break through your attacks, it seems like most of the bosses, if not all of them, are able to break out of your grapple after the second hit in the combo. If you want to damage him after grabbing him, throws are the way to go. We can, of course, like with most enemies, still juggle Tigershark with our dashing attack. Even he's not invulnerable to that. But yeah, I think I've laid out a pretty decent strategy to fight him. If you're really patient, the best way to do it is simply to wait until he surfaces. The problem with this being that not only does Beast not seem to deal a lot of damage to him, but we don't have an ultimate to make up for that. So this fight does take a while. But this fight's extended length gives me an opportunity to point out that I actually recognize this boss music. I wanted to bring it up in the first video, but I didn't have time. This boss music is the main theme from a pinball game, Devil's Crush Pinball. And I actually had to do a double take when I first heard it, because I didn't believe that was what it was. So I've got to hand it to the developer for not only knowing that this game and song exist, but for apparently thinking it was just as kick-ass as I think it is. I don't believe this is the TurboGrafx version, which is my preferred way to listen to the song, but hell, it's still a good song either way. But yeah, Tigershark is a really fun boss fight, and I appreciate that he has both simple and less simple vulnerabilities to him. I mean, yeah, anybody could figure out that he's vulnerable when he flexes, but that's not a bad thing, and he moves so fast that you do have to pay attention for the whole fight. As for Beast, he's definitely not someone I would play through the whole game with, but the robot buddy was unexpected and pretty awesome.
My